In this video, we visit the Danbury Railway Museum in Danbury, Connecticut for their Steel and Wheels event, which happens once a year and incorporates a car show with the usual museum activities. They have an extensive equipment roster, so there's certainly a lot to see. And a good amount we'll see because we're about to board a classic 100-year-old rail car pulled by a 70-year-old locomotive and take a ride through the yard to one of the last remaining functioning turntables in the country. After that, we'll take a walk around the rest of the yard. The star of today's show is the museum's ALCO RS-1 number 0673, adorned in New Haven colors. It was built in 1948 and has been with the museum for 30 years now. Power output is 1,000 horsepower. A small number by today's standards, it still puts on a pretty good smoke show, and that's something you don't see every day in modern diesels. The museum offers the ability to ride in the cab of the locomotive during the yard ride, and also has a program called the Hand on the Throttle experience. That enables regular people like ourselves to learn how to build and operate a train in their yard, and see what railroad crews go through on a daily basis. Amtrak AEM7 number 917 is one of the more recent acquisitions to the museum. Being able to see inside the cab was definitely a unique experience.
In around Queens, New York, or Fresh Pond Junction for the freight.
Once we reach the other end of the yard, everyone disembarks the train and heads for the old turntable. This railway yard has an extensive history and at one point was a major hub of transportation for the New York, New Haven, and Hartford Railroad. There was a roundhouse used for locomotive repairs as well as a machine shop with offices, both destroyed by fires decades ago. The turntable was subsequently turned into a debris pit and forgotten about until the museum resurrected it in the mid-2000s. Today it is once again used to turn trains by the museum and also offers a unique perspective into railroading history. You can see Metro North trains laid up just outside the museum, as this is the northern terminus of the Danbury line. Metro North P32 ACDM number 222, the New York, New Haven, and Hartford Railroad Heritage Unit, is seen here today. Other classic equipment residing here at the museum includes Metro North F10 number 413, originally built as an EMD F3. Also something you won't see very often, a Montreal Locomotive Works FP-4 AB set. Montreal Locomotive Works was the Canadian subsidiary of ALCO, originally built for the Canadian National in 1959. This was the last and most powerful iteration of the FA locomotive. The P in FP-4 designates that it's for passenger use, being that they're equipped with steam generators in a time before head-end power. New Haven EMD FL9 number 2006 has undergone a recent cosmetic refurbishment. It has received a fresh coat of paint and will be seen at the Metro North Shop's open house in New Haven in a couple weeks, as well as the old C.M2 set that resides here. The FL9s are unique because of their 3-axle rear truck setup. To accommodate for a larger steam generator and extra electrical equipment, the locomotive was extended 5 feet, thus requiring an extra axle to evenly distribute the weight. This gave the FL9 a very distinctive look. These locomotives were in active commuter service as recently as 2008. However, number 2006 has suffered a serious fire, so it will most likely never operate under its own power again. Now we'll walk around the rest of the yard and see some different cars from today's show, as well as more of the railroad equipment here on the property. Unfortunately, there was music blasting at the event, so for copyright reasons, I'll have to do a voiceover for most of it. Well, as you can see, there's a lot of cool cars and a pretty good turnout. This event was scheduled for sometime earlier in the year and was rescheduled months later because of some bad weather on the original date. So I'm happy to say that everything has worked out in the end as far as that goes. That being said, I thought I would talk a little bit about the museum and its history. The station was constructed in 1903 by the New York, New Haven, and Hartford Railroad following local demands for a new facility after the city's 3 railroads were consolidated under the New Haven. At its busiest, the station saw 125 trains daily. However, by 1993, service had declined to just a few commuter trains. The Connecticut Department of Transportation, which had taken ownership of the deteriorated building, closed it, and a new station was built across the yard. Within 2 years, a museum was established, and the old station building was restored to its original look. It started operations shortly after and started collecting railroad equipment. The station building itself is located on a 1.3-acre lot, with the yard being on 10 acres, with 15 tracks, and is currently home to over 75 pieces of railroad equipment. Inside the station, you'll find a ton of different railroad artifacts dating back over 100 years, as well as multiple different model train layouts. However, the most fun activity, in my opinion, would be the ride through the yard, which the museum calls the Yard Local, which we saw earlier in the video. It takes around 30 minutes and gives you the rare opportunity to ride in vintage railroad equipment that you don't see every day. The last time I visited, they were running the New Haven Bud RDC, so it's good to know that they routinely switch out equipment. Just note that the museum is only open on weekends from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m., but there's multiple train rides on both days. But anyways, as you can see, there's a good turnout here today at the Steel and Wheels event, with a lot of classic cars to go along with a lot of classic railroading equipment. I hope everyone enjoyed this video, as that's going to pretty much wrap it up for this one. I want to thank everyone for watching, and thank you to everyone who has subscribed, as I'm rapidly approaching 1,000 subscribers. I started making YouTube videos less than a year ago, and I've had a lot of fun along the way. I hope all of you have enjoyed watching these videos as much as I've enjoyed making them. And with that, we're going to end it off there. Thank you so much again for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one.